Welcome to The Wedding Edit, a wedding planning podcast for the modern couple.
Today we have the lovely Cristina Tridente from Couture Love Madness. Welcome, Cristina.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Cristina is the director of Couture Love Madness, which is wedding and formal wear made to measure.
Yes, everything is made from scratch.
Amazing. That sounds so good. So Cristina, tell us about what the process is for someone coming to you for a dress design.
Yeah, so people will often make an appointment. They'll come in. Basically, I tell people to come with any ideas that they may have. We'll sit down, go through, we chat about the whole wedding, what the kind of vibe is. I love to hear the backstory of how, how long they've been with their partner for. It really sets a bit of a picture for me. And then together we sketch up some options and look at fabrics and kind of go from there. And if it's not, more often than not, people will come in with a very specific idea or a specific fabric, and then I'll go away and source some options. And from there, basically, once the design is locked in, we'll take their measurements, usually about 6 months out, depending on how complex the dress is. And we'll make a first draft based on their measurements to make sure they're happy with the fit. So there's kind of no surprises when you physically see something that you can try on in that same kind of style. And from there, we just chip away at it. So normally about 6 appointments, you'll try the draft on, we'll make any amendments, then we'll try a bit of a shell on of the real dress or outfit. And then we kind of go from there until it's done, really. Yeah.
So it sounds like it's quite collaborative.
Very collaborative.
People can come, bring you an idea. Are you finding that when people come with a set idea in mind, that often it's, yep, this is it, this is what we're doing, or you can then jump in and help and go, no, this is how we can tweak it. This is, do you find people have that flexibility, or is it just dependent on the client? How does that go?
Well, we'll never copy something exactly. Do you know what I mean? Happy to take inspo, but everyone's body is different, and what will suit people really comes down to their shape and what they want to highlight. And often people, they want to highlight a particular section, and more often than not, they'll say, oh, I don't like my arms, or I don't like this part and that. And it's about working together to make something that they're super happy with, super comfortable with, and that they're just going to feel amazing in, really.
That's awesome. And that's exactly right. When you're coming and you're having your bespoke piece, your couture, you want to feel like the best you've felt in your life.
What's the point otherwise?
Exactly. And also, I guess, as much as these gowns are, as I said to you when you walked in the door, I jumped all over you and screamed and was fanning on you so hard. But these gowns are so breathtaking. These outfits you make blow my mind. I just can't say. I can't even say it in a professional podcast way. I'm just frothing. But also, I imagine the wearer needs a level of comfort.
Absolutely. Like, who wants to be poured into a dress? Like, my whole thing, especially with weddings, is like, you want to eat, you want to drink, you want to dance.
I definitely want to eat, yeah.
That's like the inner wog in me coming out. Yeah. But it's like, you don't want to be uncomfortable on your wedding day. I couldn't think of anything worse. Yeah. So it's very collaborative, which is great. I kind of tell people, my analogy, it's kind of like build a bear, but we build your dress, But
start with the heart.
Well, yeah.
And then get some stuffing.
Well, that's it. It's like more often than not, people will be like, what do you think I should have? And I can guide people as much as they want in terms of shape and cuts and fabrics, but I don't know you personally, more or less, when people are just booking appointments. So I need you to tell me, like, what makes you happy? What cuts are you comfortable in wearing? Even if, like, you're not sure, maybe it's a V-neck top that you wear to work every day that you like a V-neck.
Yes.
It's just about adapting what you feel great into a wedding outfit at the end of the day, or a formal outfit. I don't think, and I often say to people, you don't need to do something just because you're a bride or whatever. People are like, should I wear a veil? Do you want to wear a veil?
Yeah.
Like,
What are your thoughts on a
yeah,
veil?
don't do something just because you think other people will be expecting you to do something a certain way for a wedding. You've got to be yourself. It's about you and your partner at the end of the day, and that's what people are coming to celebrate. So
that's amazing. I think, I mean, I see all of your gowns on social media, but I absolutely think you're nailing that process of helping people express themselves because, as you know, you actually did one of my best mates' gorgeous golden wedding gowns, and I think you captured the essence of her whole personality in her gown, and she could not have felt more excellent or more comfortable on that day. She was over the moon, and that was a huge part of it. And I think it's so nice to hear you tell us about that process and hear you tell us that you investigate what makes people feel good on a daily basis, because I guess if you are having something made for you, something for a special occasion, of course, that's exactly how you should be feeling, your best self and your most comfortable.
it's really important. And I know other businesses in the wedding industry, they work differently. But for me, the only thing I wanted to do since I was 5 was make dresses. I've never once changed my mind. Yeah. I just love it.
Yeah.
And even though I'm super burnt out at the moment, I still really enjoy it. And it's the customers are what make the business. You know, it's great to dress celebrities and this, that, and the other, and that's always a fun experience. But it's the customers and word of mouth that make the business grow, that make it sustainable. Otherwise, we have nothing, you know, to go on.
It's so true. It's so true. Oh my gosh, I love, Dana, I'm sure you love it too, that you'd wanted to do this since you were 5. That's the cutest thing I've ever heard. I think when I was 5, I might have wanted to be a ballerina and or an astronaut. Neither of those things have yet come to fruition. How did you know? What do you mean when you were 5?
I used to make dresses for my Barbie dolls, and it literally out of scraps of fabric. My dad's mum was a wedding dressmaker as well.
That's so
and
special.
So I'd have like scraps of fabric, and then I grew up with my other grandmother and my great-grandmother who would crochet little skirts for my Barbie dolls, and we'd put everything together. Yes. But I'd like super glue them together, staple them. Our craft has grown since then, guys. So
are we getting a super glue?
You're not getting a super glue dress.
Piece?
No, not anymore. But it was just the only thing. I always wanted to be like a designer for Barbie. Like it was just, to me, it was such an expression of creativity. And my parents laugh because they are I guess quite modern but classic. You know, our dad's an architect, brother's an architect, mum's a school teacher, so very creative. But everything in our house was always like, our house was white, the cars were white or grey. Like they were just, everything was monotone. Even the cat was grey.
The cat's matched.
And then there was me that wanted everything with like frills and glitter. And they're like, where did this kid come from? Yeah. Seriously. But and that's just kind of come out through my creativity over, you know.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's been fun. So
it's your roots. You know?
It is. Yeah. And like I had like this poor dad would have to go and develop rolls and rolls of like, you know, the old Kodak film because I would take photos of my Barbies on like a signature rock that we had in the house. I'd like position them for photo shoots at 5, and it's pretty funny. I still got the photos actually. They're pretty hilarious.
I think there needs to be an Instagram series.
I think there needs to be.
Way back when.
They're very funny. I even did their hair. It's all a bit whack.
The birth of Couture Love Madness on the family rock.
And we had like, you know, different Barbies. I had like my Pocahontas Barbie. So, you know, like
that was good.
Bit of a variety there as well. So
you were dealing with different personalities and different body shapes from the get-go.
Back then. So, yeah.
So how much time do you need to make a design? Like when should someone look at booking you in?
At the moment, just because of the way our schedules are kind of going, it's the sooner the better. Like a year is probably ideal, 8 months, a year to 8 months really.
Yeah.
We used to be able to do more last minute things like under 3 months and kind of, but just at the moment we just can't. We're just too booked. Like we're not taking any orders up until the end of April next year. And then we're already fully booked for November, and we're still taking things in between. But people don't understand. I think sometimes it's we have to educate them about the actual process. It's not like I can just click my fingers and there's a dress. Like it's not made in China. It's not mass produced. It's, in a way I like to think it's sustainable because our garments are made with purpose. They're not just not making 50 pairs of shorts in a day, and they're for particular people. They're going to be worn, if that makes sense. They're not just to, besides if we do a range, they're not just to be made and to kind of sit there, So, yeah.
So on that note of sustainability, it sounds like you've really hit the nail on the head with that. People are having this custom-made garment, so it's not wasteful. It's not something they might grab and end up throwing out without even wearing. And I imagine because people are making an investment and putting a lot of their emotion and time into this special process, it's going to be something that they do really value and that, where appropriate, they do wear again or, really treasure for years. And sometimes with these pieces of couture hand down through their family, which I think lends itself a lot to sustainability. When you say, they're made locally, are you're designing them, you're sketching them up? Are they made on your premises?
Yeah, everything's made on our premises and I work on every dress as well. So I'm
like physically like getting into it with your hands.
Yeah. Yep. So there's a team of 4 of us and we all predominantly work on every garment really. We all kind of share the load. So it's really good. Yeah. I'm not going to put something out there that I don't know how it's put together. Like and I can't do fittings unless I know how it's put together as well, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So you really need to be quite hands-on and part of the full process. Otherwise, it's just, you're kind of going in blind.
I think that's something that would give your clients a great amount of comfort and faith, knowing that from the start of the process, whilst your creativity is there kind of giving birth to this exciting moment and this beautiful piece, you're there the whole way along. And no doubt with your team of 4, everyone's got their strengths that they're going to bring to that piece.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And everyone's got different strengths within the team as well, and it's fantastic. At the moment, we're 4 women and still looking probably to add 1 or 2 more people into the team. But it's good. Everyone's got a different background. Some are self-taught. Some went to TAFE like I did. And it's about how we kind of all work together and achieving the best result for our clients.
That's absolutely fabulous. And what about your fabrics, say? So that's more the process of making the garment or the dress or the gown or the amazingness that you do make. What about when it's coming down to the fabrics? Because that's something you obviously don't make. You source those.
Yeah, we have to source that.
Do you source them locally? Is it kind of everywhere and anywhere?
Everything.
Sure.
Yeah, a bit of everything. So we do have some suppliers locally. We have agents that come from interstate. But then if you think about the roots of it all comes from overseas. Like nothing is made in terms of fabric. Nothing's made locally in Australia anymore. So everything either comes out of, mostly China or India. And that's where we work a lot with. But for us, I mean, we don't buy in bulk, so we buy small pieces. So even if I'm drawn to a particular fabric, I'll buy enough for 1 to 2 dresses because I don't want to make 10 of the same dress. I want everyone to be quite individual, and I also don't want to have a full stock room of just rolls and rolls and rolls of dead stock fabric that's just sitting there.
Yeah.
So we try and do that, and we buy stuff in little kind of portions so that you can show clients what the opportunities are there and to have something different, but kind of have that bit of exclusivity as well, really.
That's excellent. It's very purposeful and it's very mindful in the way you're doing it.
I'm not made of money either. So all made of space. Like I can't just have, and I think I learned that over the last few years as well. When I first started, I'd buy more fabrics, but now I really only buy things with purpose.
Yeah.
Or if I really want something because I can visualize what I'm going to make, I won't buy a fabric unless I know what I'm going to make out of it if it's not for a client. I just won't.
Wow, that's amazing.
Otherwise, you sit on like a pile of money that's just
Being
in
wasted.
fabric.
I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
against sitting on a pile of money, but yeah,
No,
only, only in a helpful
fabric.
way. I know.
That ain't going to pay your
You're gonna
bills.
sleep on it.
That pile of fabric ain't going to pay my electricity bill.
I wish it would. That would be so handy.
Yeah.
Do people ever roll in with, a fabric that might have been part of the family or
Sometimes.
something like that?
Yeah, sometimes. I'm very particular with what we use. Like if it's that's different. Like that's sentimental, but often people will be, like they want to source their own fabric, but I'm very particular unless they bring me a sample. Because to be honest, if the fabric's crap, doesn't matter what I make, it's going to look crap. Like it's the quality that needs to be there.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to look into it. Definitely. If it's for a particular purpose or it's sentimental, no worries. But it's just creating that awareness about quality. You're going to pay all this money for a garment. You want it to look good. So I want to make it out of the best possible options as well.
Well, you can have the best dress design, but the fabric's going to let it down.
100%.
Yeah. So like if somebody brings in a
It's like if
quality.
you were to get you take amazing photos and then they you get them printed at Kmart or something.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to get the result that you want, So it's interesting.
So we're talking about some fabrics from overseas, and I know that you said like most fabrics are all made overseas now. Do people come in and they want a specific kind of material, like a French lace, for example, is very popular?
Not as much anymore, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
But we can get all of that stuff. So our agents specialize in different things. So as I said, like when people come in, it's the first appointment is really about a chat, talk about the background, this, that, and the other. But then if they've got a specific idea for the second appointment, I'll have those kind of sourced options.
Ooh,
and there's also the other option if we want to go down like a custom lace, custom fabric part as well, depending on time. Usually we like to have about 12 months for that kind of process where we design the fabric and it gets handmade in India. So and everything's
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really
So
good.
exciting.
We've got 2 orders hopefully coming. They're on their way back to me today. So there's a dress that we do, the Olivia dress with feathers on it, and that whole pattern I hand draw. And then I go to Bunnings and I take those paint swatch cards of the colours I want and I send them.
Yeah.
And they dye the feathers and everything
wow.
is every single stitch is done by hand. But it's not something that we can produce here. And like the quality of that is just incredible. Like I had to add a flower into one of the dresses and I was like struggling to do it because their craftsmanship is just so incredible.
Yeah.
How gorgeous.
Yeah.
It sounds so good.
It's really interesting process.
So, Cristina, can you talk to us about an estimation of price that someone might be paying for a dress from you?
Completely depends on especially like the occasion of what it's for, because we do like a lot of mother of the bride and groom as well. So it just really depends. Bridal traditionally starts from about 3,500 and kind of goes up from there. And it's just really based on your design and your fabrics. So once that's kind of narrowed down, then I give people a price. Or if they've got a particular budget as well, I can kind of tell them what we can do for that kind of budget as well. Or I like to give people, if they're choosing laces, I often say choose 2 or 3 and then I'll give you a price for each and then you can choose, because at the end of the day, I know that our team can make something amazing, whether it's a slightly cheaper fabric or a slightly more expensive one. It just depends what the client wants to spend, what they're comfortable with and what they really want. Like their heart might be completely set on that fabric or their heart might be completely set on the design and they're happy to go a cheaper fabric.
Yeah.
So there's really options, you know. Yeah. Try and make everyone happy and make everything work when we can. Yep.
I think that's good as well, because I think people sometimes they might want this dress in this fabric. But at the end of the day, if they've got $6,000 to spend, that's what they've got to spend.
100%. And that's cool.
And you can say, we could achieve this look.
And we can still make them something amazing for that kind of budget. But it just depends what they're comfortable with and what their priorities are. And I think with weddings as well, people prioritize different things for weddings. So they might prioritize the food or the photography or the dress. And at the end of the day, you've got to think what's important to you and your partner and what will people remember. So to me, like, it's really about obviously the mood of the day, but the photos are the things that last the longest, and the dress in the photos, like, that makes sense to me as well. But obviously a celebrant is creating that whole vibe. No, but it is. Do you know what I mean? But like, who cares if you have salmon colored bloody serviettes or whatever? Like, those are the things that, like, aesthetically, yeah, they look cool, but are you really going to remember, like, 10 years on, that you had salmon-coloured serviettes?
I guess it's what's important to the couple, what they want to focus on. I do find with my couples, I have found that people are focused on wanting to allocate a really comfortable part of their budget to what they're wearing.
Yeah.
Because
we're finding that now too, which is good. They will wiggle around with other things, because not only is it about, as you say, the beautiful photos that Dana and Doug take, or that, the beautiful photos capture the memory in that garment, but it's about you helping them to feel amazing in this piece, to enjoy themselves. And I think that's why couples now are realizing it's worth investing, more of our wedding budget in what we're wearing, because that feels great. Yeah. And it's interesting though, people prioritize things differently. Like, we have clients that come in and spend like triple what they'd spend on a dress on flowers.
Of course.
Like, and it's just like, you got to go with what you want for your big day. But it's like, if you've given me a budget that's unachievable for the design that you want, we're honest about that, and as I said, we can more often than not make something to fit majority of those budgets. It just depends which way you want to go. So, yeah.
Amazing. I love all this info. I think people want to have this experience, but sometimes don't know where to start.
Yeah, of course.
In a general sense, is there any advice, one piece of advice or little bits of advice you would give somebody about their wedding outfit or their formal outfit made by you?
Definitely. Just be yourself. Like, think about what makes you happy, because that's going to really show on the day as well. You've got to be comfortable. It's got to be you to a T. It's about you and your partner. So be yourself, bring in ideas, even if you might think that they're silly, like, bring everything, and then we can literally sketch up something together. There's kind of no right or wrong answer. And, often or not, like, through the process, things can change slightly as well. Like, you might have an idea that you want bows on your shoulders, and then you get halfway through and you're like, oh, actually it doesn't need it. Or maybe you want to add a bit of lace. And unless people are doing like a full 180, changing their whole dress design, fabric, color, this, that, and the other, like, a lot of things can be adapted through the process as well. But I just really think about you and your partner and what you guys like want to showcase on the day, because people are there are the people that, that know you and that love you. So they want to see you looking happy in your best self, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The more you can, it sounds like the more your couples can, be open with you, the more amazing the experience is going to be, and the better they're going to feel on their special day.
Absolutely. We have a couple coming up for next year, same-sex couple, and one of them, she said to me, oh, I want like Harry Styles kind of vibe with like a frilled organza shirt. And I'm like, hell yes.
I want that right now.
I want that too. Yeah. So like, it's just about, and her partner wanted something not to match in, but something that was a bit more subdued. And it's like, be true to your personality. Yeah. Like, everyone who's there knows you guys, like, get exactly what you want. That's the thing about custom. We can make anything. Just depends what you want and what you want to spend. So the options are endless.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Which events do you find are most popular for bringing in people to come to you for a dress design?
So obviously bridal makes up majority now of what we do, but before we started in more red carpet and formals. So we still do formal. Mother of the bride and groom is a lot. So that's a lot of business for us at the moment. I've noticed now that because we're taking on a lot more brides, I'm trying to scale that back slightly, but to us, that's our second, up to now, it's been the kind of leading business for us has been majority of that. And we're doing christenings now as well, which I really like because to me, it's such a special time, those kind of events. But more often than not, people sometimes come with they want the christening dress made out of their wedding dress or –
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really beautiful and sentimental.
Oh, so christenings for the child.
Yes, yes, for the child.
I am not au fait with christenings as much as everyone else in this room.
For the child, yes.
So a beautiful garment for the child on this special event.
Yeah, so
that's adorable.
It's really lovely. So often
I'm thinking of the parents here.
Yeah, no, sometimes we do both, but mostly the child. And so there's kind of two different ways people go. So they often will get the dress or the outfit made from their wedding dress, but often they'll either go that way or they'll go something completely new and different, which is really good because to me, we can use really expensive fabrics, but you're only using a little bit of it and you're also using more often than not, like scraps from wedding gowns that we've made. So it becomes a really sustainable way to use more of the fabric that we have. I don't really throw much out. My staff hate it. But I always think things kind of come in handy and then you can make really beautiful christening outfits with really expensive fabrics and, and little people are so cute. They're cute to make things for because they don't talk back. Yes. No, but there's not, how do I put it? There's not a lot of fitting for christenings because you're not trying to contour around a bust or hips or anything, they're fun to make. Yeah, they're really fun to make.
That sounds adorable. Yeah. And how gorgeous the end product.
Yeah.
So cute.
And we
seeing
make
it on a little person.
The accessories as well for christening. So we do like the bonnets, the little shoes.
Bonnets.
Yeah.
Kids in bonnets and shoes.
Bonnets and like
I love
little
it.
headbands
It's
with
like the Handmaid's Tale, but not in a bad way.
Yeah, in a good way. Handmaid's Tale in a good way, guys.
Can the Handmaid's Tale ever be good? But that sounds so cute.
It's good. It's good.
So thank you so much for coming in today. We've been talking to Cristina Tridente from Couture Love Madness.
It's been amazing, Cristina. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
So if you're looking for where to find Cristina from Couture Love Madness, you can find her at Instagram Couture Love Madness, on her website couturelovemadness.com.au and Facebook Couture Love Madness.
If you love listening to The Wedding Edit as much as we love making it, please share it with your friends, family, or anyone you know who's getting engaged. I'm going to let my butcher know because he's engaged right now.